RFTC-6 is a wireless glass zone thermostat with one built-in relay 16 amp for direct switching. Designed for controlling RFSTI11B or RFATV2 thermal head and wireless switching elements. It allows control of different heating sources in up to 16 independent zones rooms. RFTC-6 has 8 capacitive touch buttons for control. Buttons 1 and 2 are used to increase or decrease the set temperature. Button 3 allows switching between heating and cooling modes. Buttons 4 and 5 are intended for switching between zones. Button 6 is used to turn regulation on or off. Button 7 is used for program modes. Button 8 allows switching between temperature modes. These icons provide a quick overview of the device's status and settings directly on the display. Welcome to the RFTC-6 video manual. In this guide, we'll walk you through everything you need to know to get your RFTC-6 device up and running. We'll start with controlling functions and the first startup, including how to connect to the device. Then we'll explore the web interface and show you how to set up heating and cooling, followed by how to connect your device to the iNELS mobile app. We'll show you how the entire configuration can be handled directly through your phone, and configure each button to suit your needs. You'll learn how to manage the paired devices, create scenes, organize them into rooms. We'll also explain how to create time schedules and automation logic to streamline your smart environment. After that, we'll go over advanced options and service access. Let's get started. You can monitor the current air humidity in the lower right corner of the display. When humidity is turned off in the options, the sensor's current temperature will be displayed. The main on-off button is used to turn the device on or off. A long press toggles between the on and off modes for all zones simultaneously, while a short press switches only the currently active zone. Once turned on, the RFTC-6 automatically operates based on the set parameters. The HCA selector button lets you cycle through the available zones. HCA, heating, cooling areas, represent rooms or parts of the house where temperature control is active. You set up these areas in the iNELS app. The HCA selector button allows you to switch between them. The temperature mode button allows you to quickly switch between preset comfort levels like minimum, attenuation, normal, or comfort mode. The program mode button changes how the thermostat behaves over time. For example, you can use temporary manual, go into permanent manual, or set holiday mode, and automatic. To adjust the temperature, use the up and down arrow buttons. The display shows the target room temperature and the current temperature. In the settings, you can choose whether to always display the set or current temperature. Finally, there's the heating and cooling button. This allows you to switch between heating and cooling modes, but only if the selected zone has both a heating and a cooling unit assigned. If no cooling unit is linked, this button will have no effect. Together, these buttons give you quick access to all essential thermostat functions. Warning: before installation, make sure the wires are not connected to the main supply. To mount the RFTC-6, first unscrew the front cover and carefully separate it from the base. Pull the supply wires through the openings. Place the bottom part of the thermostat into the wall box and fix it with screws. Connect the live and neutral wires to the L and N terminals. and connect any additional wiring such as the external temperature sensor or the load on the 16 amp relay. After the wiring is complete, position the front part with the display onto the base. Finally, tighten both parts together from the bottom with 2 screws. Wi-Fi access point may turn off automatically after a period of inactivity. If that happens, you can reactivate the Wi-Fi by pressing buttons 1, 2, 7, and 8 simultaneously. RFTC-7 will automatically create its own Wi-Fi access point. On your smartphone, tablet, or laptop, go to the Wi-Fi settings and look for a network called RFTC-6. The default password is ELKO EP_6. After connecting, open a web browser and enter the IP address 192.168.1.1. This opens the built-in web interface of the thermostat. Here you can set up the Wi-Fi network name. Its default setting displays the product type. The password serves to protect access to the Wi-Fi network created by the RFTC-6 access point AP mode. Users connect to this network to configure the device. The next step, crucial for the full functionality of the device, is setting up a connection to the local Wi-Fi network. In the Wi-Fi client, enter the network name and password. Select DHCP for automatic IP address assignment and easy connection without manual configuration. Alternatively, set a static IP, which is configured manually, as stable for frequently accessed devices, and save the changes. Copy the entire IP. Make sure that no numbers or dots are missing from the sequence. Connect to the local Wi-Fi. And enter the copied address into the browser. Now you have the RFTC-6 connected to Wi-Fi and can fully utilize all its available features. The heating and cooling section is where you define how the RFTC-6 controls the temperature in each zone. It gives you full flexibility to build heating or cooling logic for every room in your setup. First, we start by adding a 2-switching unit. This unit will control the heating area and boiler supply. Go to Devices and tap Add Device. Select the switching unit from the list. Add the address, name the device. Click Save. Next, we add the boiler relay, which will serve as the central supply for the heating. Go again to Devices and select the switching unit you want to add as boiler relay. And click Save. After that, we add the temperature sensor RFTI-20. This sensor will provide the actual temperature value for the living room. Add the address of the sensor. Select the device type. Fill the name. Click Save. Now, you can configure temperature plans. These are weekly time plans that define what the target temperature should be throughout the day. Go to Heating and Cooling section, open Temperature Plans, and tap Add New Plan. Enter a plan name. Comfort, Normal, Attenuation, and Minimum. The temperature of each mode can be freely edited to match your preference. Create timestamps for the required periods. Save the plan. Now, we connect the heating circuit to the switching element. Go to Heating Circuits and click the Add button. Fill the name. Choose the temperature sensor, which is located in Living Room. Set the temperature plans and add the switching unit. This ensures that the selected circuit is switched on or off according to the temperature plan. And now we put everything together into a living room. Fill the name and set the icon. Click the plus button and add devices to the room. Click Save. The third part is central supplies. This is useful when multiple zones share a common heating or cooling unit, like a boiler. You can assign a central relay that turns on automatically when any of the zones in that group demand heating. This ensures efficiency and reduces unnecessary switching. Assign the HCA that should control the boiler. Save it, and that's it. This part of the configuration is crucial for achieving optimal climate control tailored exactly to your room layout, devices, and comfort preferences. Now that your RFTC-6 is configured and running, it's time to connect it to the iNELS Home app for convenient control from your smartphone or tablet. First, download the iNELS app from Google Play or the App Store and launch it on your mobile phone. Choose New User. Fill in your details like your first and last name. Enter your email address and choose a secure password. We recommend using at least 8 characters, including letters and numbers. Check the box to accept the terms of service and confirm registration. Verify your email. A confirmation email will be sent to your address. Open it and click the link to verify your account. Log into the app. After verification, return to the iNELS app and log in with your email and password. For a complete guide on how to use the app, visit the manual at the link provided or open it directly in the app under the section Manuals. Your account has now been created and you can start adding devices and setting up your smart home. Before you begin, make sure your RFTC-6 is in client mode and connected to your home Wi-Fi network. You can verify this in the Service section under Wi-Fi Client. Once the device is connected, it will automatically receive an IP address from your router. Open the app and log into your account. Select Gateway Administration. Click the Add Gateway button. It will scan for products and then display all available elements. Identify the device you want to connect based on its IP or MAC address. Then enter the default login credentials. These can be changed later in the web interface. And after successful addition, you will see RFTC-6 in the gateway settings. You'll now be able to see all your devices, rooms, heating, and cooling areas directly on your phone. By tapping on Rooms, we select Living Room. In the living room area, you can adjust the temperature and switch between temperature modes like a minimum, attenuation, normal, or comfort. You can also choose between program modes. Automatic mode works based on the temperature plan you have set. Temporary manual applies the selected temperature only for a limited time, after which it returns to the program schedule. Manual holds the selected temperature until you change it again. Or Holiday keeps your home in energy-saving mode during your absence. To use this mode, you first need to set the temperatures in a new Holiday plan. This connection works locally, meaning it communicates over your home network. One of the biggest advantages is that you don't need a computer to manage it. Thanks to the iNELS Home Control mobile app, you can do almost everything directly from your phone, including adding devices and organizing rooms. Let's take a closer look at what you can configure. First, we start by adding a 2-switching unit. This unit will control the heating area and boiler supply. Go to Devices and tap Add Device. Name the device. Add the address. Select the switching unit from the list. And select the icon. Click Save. Next, we add the boiler relay, which will serve as the central supply for the heating. Go again to Devices, choose Add Device, and select the switching unit you want to add as boiler relay. And click Save. After that, we add the temperature sensor RFTI-20. This sensor will provide the actual temperature value for the living room. Once it is added, assign it to the living room. Next, we create a temperature plan. Go to Heating and Cooling section. Open Temperature Plans, tap Add New Plan. Enter a plan name. Choose RFTC-6. Select Heating or Cooling mode. Create timestamps for the required periods. Save the plan. Now we connect the heating circuit to the switching element. Go to Heating Circuits and click the Add button in right top corner. Fill the name. Choose the temperature sensor, which is located in living room. Set the temperature plans. And add the switching unit. This ensures that the selected circuit is switched on or off according to the temperature plan. Click the Save button. And now we put everything together into a living room. Fill the name and set the icon. Click Save. Add the switching unit, the heating area, and the temperature sensor to the room. This way, all devices and controls are grouped in one place, and you can easily manage the whole heating system from a single room. If you want to use the iNELS cloud, you need to add the devices into a room. Only then they will be displayed on the cloud. Finally, we set up the central supply, for example, the boiler heating. This way, the boiler will be activated whenever there is a demand from one of the heating circuits. Assign the HCA that should control the boiler. Save the plan. All necessary settings for HCA can be found in Rooms. Here you can see, for example, the living room heating area, and control it directly from your phone. The app gives you full control in your pocket. You can now control RFTC-6 via the iNELS cloud in a web browser. After entering the login credentials, you will see the RFTC-6 controls in the Rooms folder. You can adjust the temperature modes. Control the buttons and use the plus or minus buttons to control the temperature. The iNELS cloud service is free and allows you to control your RFTC-6 remotely. When connected to the cloud, you can access your devices from anywhere, not only when you are at home on the same Wi-Fi, but also when you are away. This gives you full control of heating, cooling, and automation anytime and anywhere. The Buttons tab allows you to assign functions to individual buttons, replace them with another, use in automation, or use as a wireless button. To reassign functions, simply select the new function for the desired button and click Save. For buttons 1 to 8, we can select the automation mode. For this mode, set up the automation in the given tab. Click on Add Automation and select RFTC-6 and choose the button. For button 3, we can choose whether we want a short or long press. Select the element you want to control and set the parameters as needed. And save the automation. Then you can verify by pressing that the button for automation works as it should and follows the settings. RFTC-6 can be set as a classic wireless button and control devices directly through pairing mode. Select the button you want to use as a wireless controller. In the web interface, click on Pair. This will switch the RFTC-6 buttons into learning mode. Start the pairing mode in the web interface and hold the prog button on the device for more than 3 seconds for pairing mode. On RFTC-6, with 1 to 6 presses, assign the required function, end pairing mode with a short press, end pairing mode on RFTC-6, and click Save. Once the pairing is complete, the device RFTC-6 is working as a wireless controller and can directly control paired elements. In the button configuration section, you can not only assign functions to each button, but also customize its appearance, including its backlight color. To change the color, simply click on the button you want to edit. A color picker will appear. Here you can choose any shade using the palette. Click Save, and the new color will be immediately applied to the button. This visual customization helps differentiate buttons by function and gives your thermostat a personalized look. In the Device Management section, you can connect the RFTC-6 with other wireless iNELS devices, such as relays, actuators, sensors, or heating elements. To add a new device, click the Add Device button. Select the device from the product list. Next, enter the device address and a short description to identify it and click Save. If you want to make changes later, simply click the blue edit icon, update the details, and save your changes. If you no longer need a device, click Delete. Confirm the deletion to ensure data is not accidentally lost. You can also delete all devices. This section keeps your setup organized and lets you make changes at any time, whether you're expanding your system or replacing a unit. Now let's take a look at how to organize your devices and make them work together using rooms and scenes. First, we'll start with rooms. In the Rooms section, you can create logical groups based on physical spaces like living room, kitchen, or bedroom. This allows you to easily manage multiple devices within the same room and helps with automation and visual clarity. To create a room, click Add Room. Give it a name, choose the icon. And click Save. Both are ready. You can assign various devices to a specific room. You can add relays. You can also add wireless buttons like the RF key. It's also possible to include light sources, detectors, and thermometers devices that measure temperature levels. For controlling shades or blinds, you can add shutter modules. And finally, HCA units can also be assigned to a room for advanced control. This allows you to organize and automate your smart home setup efficiently, with clear structure and room-based grouping. You can also change the name in the Edit section. Or delete the room later if needed. You can also delete all rooms at once. Now let's move on to scenes. A scene is a group of actions, for example. You can create a scene that turns on lights, starts the heating, and closes the blinds all with a single command. Select the devices you want to include. For each device, you can define a target state like on-off or delayed on-off or a specific value. This combination of rooms and scenes gives you both structure and smart control, making the whole system feel intuitive and powerful. The next section is all about time schedules and automation. Let's start with time schedules. Time schedules can be applied to devices like lights, sockets, heaters. In this tab, you can create precise time-based programs for wireless devices, for example, switching a relay on at 7 a.m. and off at 10 p.m. Choose active days of the week. You can define multiple time intervals per day. These are ideal for regular routines such as automatic evening lighting or scheduled heating. Now let's look at automation, one of the most powerful tools in the system. Automation rules follow a simple structure. These conditions and actions are all processed locally on the RFTC-6, meaning they work without internet or cloud connection. First, go to the web interface and open the Devices tab. Here you can add new elements like sensors or controllers or switching devices. Select the type you want to connect and follow the pairing instructions. Enter the product address. Add a description. And click Save. Next, we will add a switching element like the RFSAI62 BSL. Click Add Device. And enter the address. Add the element name in the description. Click Save. Go to Automations and add a device. Set the parameters. Then select the switching element, set the parameters, and click Save. With these simple steps, you can add various elements to the RFTC-6 and create automations that help you easily control temperature, ventilation, and other functions. The Options tab contains important options for customizing the behavior of the device, including display settings, gateway login, and other operational parameters. This tab is divided into several sections. The Panel tab is used to adjust the display and button behavior. You can set the backlight, displayed values, and button behavior according to your needs. Display illumination. You can choose whether the display backlight stays on. You can set the display brightness in percentages from 0% to 100%. Temperature display. You can modify what is displayed on the screen, the set temperature or the current room temperature. You can also set whether you want the temperature to be shown in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Time and humidity display. In this section, you can choose whether you want to see the current time and relative humidity in the room on the display. Device settings. In the Device Settings tab, you can manage operational parameters such as frequencies or language. The RFTC-6 supports two selectable frequencies: 868.50 MHz, which is the standard for most EU countries, and 866.15 MHz, used in India and other regions where local regulations apply. Make sure to select the frequency that matches your local wireless devices, otherwise communication between the thermostat and actuators might not work correctly. Once selected, press Change to apply the setting. The web interface supports multiple languages, and you can switch between them at any time. You can also change the login credentials for accessing the web interface. For security reasons, it is highly recommended to replace the default username and password with something more secure after your first setup. If you're using MQTT for integration with third-party systems or home automation platforms, you'll find the necessary connection settings here as well. This section gives you control over how the device behaves visually and how it integrates with other systems. Once your preferences are saved, they take effect immediately. The Service section gives you access to technical and maintenance tools that help you manage the network, perform updates, and reset the device when needed. In Wi-Fi AP mode, the RFTC-6 creates its own Wi-Fi network. This is the mode used during initial setup. In this mode, you can change the device hostname, set the access password, and choose the mode: always on with client or auto off after 5 minutes of inactivity. In client mode, the device connects to your home Wi-Fi network. Once connected, it receives an IP address from your router via DHCP. You'll also find basic date and time settings, which are important for scheduled actions to work properly. Latest software updates can also be performed here. Navigate to the Firmware Update section and click on Select File. Here, upload the downloaded latest firmware, and initiate the process. After completing the update, we recommend restarting the RFTC-6 by turning the power off and on. You can also access the device via its local DNS name. Simply type rftc-6.local in your browser. To create a backup of the settings, go to the Backup section and click the Backup button. This process ensures that all your current settings are safely stored and ready for future use. To restore from a backup, select the saved file and confirm the restoration. Make sure you select the correct file to avoid potential data loss. Delete configuration. This will erase all user-defined settings, including devices, rooms, automations, and schedules, but it keeps the network settings and firmware intact. It's ideal when you want to reconfigure the device without reconnecting to Wi-Fi. The next option is Factory Reset. To reset the RFTC-6 into factory settings, press and hold buttons 3, 4, 5, and 6 for a few seconds until the RFTC-6 restarts. This will reset the device to factory settings. The second option is through the web interface. In the Service tab, find the Factory Reset option and select Perform Factory Reset. This will return the RFTC-6 factory settings, meaning all previously stored settings and configurations will be erased. The device will revert to the original state set by the manufacturer. It is important to note that this action is irreversible and should only be performed if necessary to resolve issues or restore the system to basic functionality. The Service section brings you everything you need to maintain or recover the system. At the bottom, you'll find the Web Remote Control section. This feature allows you to access and control the RFTC-6 remotely over the internet without the need for any cloud account or special setup. A unique access key is generated here. To connect, simply visit wrc.elkoep.com and enter your device's key. This gives you direct access to the web interface of your RFTC-6, just as if you were on the same local network. It's a secure peer-to-peer solution for remote management, perfect for installers or users who need control from anywhere with no port forwarding or cloud dependency.